A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook and on the free Odyssey app.
High noon and welcome in. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder, and the man, the myth, the legend, the boot, nails himself, Mason Crosby in the house.
That's right. Yeah, unlike Sasquatch, you can find me here most days, but
nice.
I pop up where, sometimes where you don't expect me. So
That's fair, yeah.
we have an awesome show lined up.
Oh, my gosh.
If y'all didn't see, Coach McCarthy is coming on here in about 15, 18 minutes or so.
Is that what you call him? Do you call him Coach?
I call him,
do you call him
text him, I called him Mike.
Okay,
Yeah, Big
okay.
Mike.
Yeah. Big Mike.
Oh, Big
I like
Mike,
that,
yeah. But, I'll probably call him Coach a bunch. I mean, it's, he's such a great guy. And, it was awesome listening to him. He was just, he does McAfee's show once a week now. I guess he replaced Aaron on there. I don't know what that's about. But
AJ Hawk,
Yeah, it was so awesome. He texted this morning. He was like, hey, my time changed if y'all want me on. I was like, heck yeah, let's
say
go.
less, right?
So, let's go. That'll be fun to catch up, especially with this huge matchup going on this weekend. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, that's why we wanted Mike on, especially because Aaron Rodgers, of course, facing the Green Bay Packers Sunday night, 7:15 on NBC. Sunday Night Football. Cannot wait. Packers at Steelers. Packers 3-point favorites in that. Bucks play tonight. Mikey Henninger is going to join us. Basement Brood Fantasy Football. So get your fantasy questions in now. Text them in to the Nicolay Law Talking text line. 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. We did give our game predictions yesterday, so unless anything's changed, we'll hold with those. We do have some business
Can
ethics.
I change my pick from yesterday?
You can't? I
For
think
that game last night?
no.
Can I change that one?
You are
No.
locked into that one.
Oh, come on. I mean,
No.
they were cheating in the NBA. They cheat on gambling all the time. Can't I just change my pick?
Yes, just like I can go back in time and buy Bitcoin 15 years ago.
Yeah, why can't we
Yes.
do that? I mean, the rules don't apply.
No, that is you are absolutely correct. But no, you are locked in. Nice call on the Vikings. Yeah, nailed it.
Yeah, they're so bad.
Yeah, they are awful. Badgers tomorrow night are in Eugene, Oregon. We can ignore that completely. But tonight, let's kick things off before we get to Mike McCarthy in just about 10 minutes or so. Baseball is back. I know it hurts a little bit for some of us Brewers fans, but it is happening regardless of whether we want it to happen. It is the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. Dodgers at Blue Jays tonight. Blake Snell on the mound for the Dodgers. We know what he did last time he pitched. Savage is savage sometimes. The rookie, youngest.
What a cool story.
Youngest ever Game 1 starter in the World Series, I believe. I thought I saw that. Yeah,
I was looking at his come up this year. I mean, he started in single A, for one of their single A teams, and just worked his way up. I mean, he wasn't even the starting pitcher till September, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, what a come up. Do you think they pitched to Ohtani? Oh, do you think they even give him a chance?
First inning, lead off, they do.
All right. So
but then after that,
whenever he takes some yard, I mean, it's like
right. It's been a few days, so we'll see if he's still on a heater or not. Which he probably.
I don't know if Ohtani
player,
comes off a heater. Yeah,
right, yeah.
Guy's just.
He was for a minute though in the playoffs. There, he was 1 for 21 or whatever it was,
and
then he hits 3 home runs,
10 walks too.
Yes.
They were just not even trying to pitch to him either. The Phillies did have the formula, it felt like, but other than that, I'm not counting out Shohei Ohtani anytime he's at the plate.
Yep. Dodgers are minus 155 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, so the Blue Jays are plus 130 in the game tonight. Over under of 7.5. I don't know. I don't know if you want to predict the game tonight specifically, Mace, or the series in general.
Oh, I'm slamming the over on that one
tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, you
7.5?
You think Snell? I mean, Snell can pitch a shutout, and that means the Dodgers got to score 8 runs.
I don't think Snell's going to have the game he had against.
Really?
Okay.
All right.
Talk about being kind of like on the he's had rest and it's been a while. Like, I feel like he's gonna he might not have as good of a night as he had.
I think the Blue Jays lineup a little scarier too than the Brewers lineup as well.
There is similar lineups, but with more power.
A lot more pop.
The Blue Jays led the league, led majors in batting average. Brewers were second. Blue Jays, I believe, led all Major League Baseball in hits. Brewers were third, but with a lot more pop. Savage this year, 3 games in the regular season. Wow. Started 3 games, was 1-0 with a 3.21 ERA. In the postseason, he's pitched in 3 games, and he's 2-1 with a 4.20 ERA. But he does have 22 strikeouts in 15 innings. He is a strikeout merchant, not unlike Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who last night, as always, a free throw merchant.
Yeah.
I think he shot 79 free throws last night.
26. Yeah,
26. I know it's double overtime, but still.
That's insane.
I think that this Savage, with those numbers and with him being the youngest game 1 starter ever, this is all adding up to the Dodgers just absolutely torch them tonight. Yeah. I mean, like, a great story. Love what he did, right? But I know this Dodgers lineup is going to come out with a vengeance, and to have Dave Roberts being like, let's really ruin baseball and win 4 more games.
Right.
Like,
just sweep the series. Like, not even lose a game.
Yeah. I can tell you that I'm rooting for Canada, a big Canada guy this week. But I don't think that this Dodger team is going to, you want me to start it off here? I'll give my first prediction on what's going to happen.
Go.
Sure.
Dodgers in 5.
Okay. I think Dodgers in 4.
Really?
Yeah.
I think sweep this.
I think Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow, and Otani
it is crazy.
I think they do
line it right back up.
Yeah, I think they do to the Blue Jays what they did to the Brewers, and I think actually it'll make us as Brewers fans feel a little bit better that, like, oh, we weren't the sisters of the poor here. The Dodgers could do this to anybody at any time.
Dodgers just waited for the playoffs, and then it's just like, all right, now let's turn it on. We'll put our best pitchers on the mound, and it's going to be hard for you to just keep up with us.
This is like the worst of both worlds for me, of rooting for the team that beat you versus not rooting for the team that beat you, because you were in the semifinals. So if you're rooting for the team that beat you, it was like, okay, well, you ran into a buzzsaw on the Dodgers, or wow, the Brewers could have just won the World Series if they would have just won this series, right?
Yeah, but, but they were never going to win the series. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that this Blue Jays team has some – I do think it is in their favor. They do get the first 2 games in Toronto, right? And that place looks like it gets pretty rocking at times as well.
But I'm pretty sure the Brewers had the first 2 games in Milwaukee as well.
Yeah. I don't –
Blake Snell can make a building turn quiet quickly.
Yeah.
We saw that.
Yeah, and then again, if the Blue Jays come out like they did against the Mariners and they lose the first 2 games, I mean, they're not going to be able to come back like they did against the Mariners. I mean,
that is
Dodgers take that thing back to LA and it's just it's over. Then
goodbye.
If the Dodgers win those first 2 games in Toronto, then it's a sweep, in my opinion.
Do you, Mason? Do you have an official prediction on the World Series and winner and games? Like, I have Dodgers win 4. Tommy has Dodgers in 5. Do you have? Do you think Toronto can steal a couple games? I mean, I'd love to see.
Watching that series against the Brewers, I mean, it's hard to imagine somebody just like being able to outlast the Dodgers, just with how they played in that series against the Brewers with this pitching staff, with everything they have. But yeah, I would go more of the. I think it's going to be 5 games.
Okay.
I think Toronto's going to win one.
Toronto's going to.
I think one of these first 2, they'll get a win.
Okay.
Who's the MVP of the series?
I mean, Shohei is the overwhelming favorite. He's plus 140. Then
it's going to be Freddie Freeman. I was
going to say,
and just like hit out of his mind and just keep this thing rolling.
So $100 gets you $1,200
for Freddie.
For Freddie, I think that's worth like throw $10 on him to win $120.
Yeah, that's not bad. Yeah. I think that he's going to be definitely a factor in this, obviously. And like Mookie kind of getting hot at the end of that series against the Brewers, rather.
He just hasn't been consistent enough this year.
Yeah.
But
Bo Bichette back though for the Blue Jays.
Boba Fett?
Yeah, Boba Fett.
Hey, did you see the Nikolai Law fan talking text line? I got to hit this.
What do we got? Uh-oh.
I'm getting trolled on there pretty hard.
What?
The 262. I mean, this is a good one. Remember when leading scorer Mason Crosby said 5-1 start for the Wisconsin Badgers?
All right. Yeah, I
had to.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I'll put myself under the bus on that one.
You did.
I'm an optimist, and
Yeah.
I felt like they had a chance, and they just shattered my dreams.
Yeah, now it's 30-point spreads every week.
Yeah,
So,
that's what a
By the
turn
way,
of events.
Tim from the Bay, which I assume is Whitefish Bay. So, Tim, you and I should get a coffee at Stone Creek sometime. Writes in, so Mason, I've got to tell you, when you made that game-winning kick in Dallas, I celebrated so much, I blew out my knee. Not kidding.
Dude,
Tim, that is
you
real.
right? Yeah,
I love it.
Sorry about that.
Did you ever
man.
kick
Well,
in Canada?
Hey,
Mason?
at least it was a positive, knee blowout.
That's a great. Did you ever kick
I
in Canada?
did. Yeah, I kicked in Canada in the preseason. Remember against was that against the Raiders? And
Where
we
was the
almost
game?
canceled another game. It was in was that Winnipeg? Yeah.
Okay.
The Blue Bombers.
Blue Bombers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
So they, the Canadian uprights are on the goal line.
They're in the field.
So whenever they move those for the NFL and put them at the back, like they didn't patch up the area very well. So like it was just like turf, and you could literally see the circle from where the thing was, and like you could feel the metal under the turf. So everyone, and this was another me, Jordy, like all the guys, we're like, we are not playing on this field. Someone's going to break an ankle. And so we ended up playing where the goal line was the 10-yard line. And so, but so every field goal was like a 50+ yarder, because it was like you got stalled out at the 20 and you're hitting bombs to the back of the end zone. So it was kind of funny, but yeah, I've played there once.
There's a lot of Mason love coming up on the talking text line.
Are we getting some?
Yeah, well,
right.
I think Tim says he would do it again. Don't be sorry. And there was a lot of love for Mike McCarthy as well. Being born and raised in Green Bay, into the Packer family, Mike is hands down my favorite coach. We're sorry to see him go. If you could just relay a message, I would be the first to buy him a triple foam latte.
Nice.
Ultimately, I hope life is treating him well and his family. So,
Right.
Well, we can ask him.
Yeah,
Let's get to
well,
him. then,
let's do it.
Yeah,
so
short segment here, and we're going to
we've
talk
all got
a lot
the
about
Dodgers. I've got a sweep. You guys both have Dodgers in 5. We will keep our eyes on that game 7:00 tonight. And because of that start, the Bucks and Raptors, which was supposed to be at 6:30 tonight, is moved up to 5:30, so that Toronto fans could, get out of there quicker and see more of the World Series games.
Smart.
Yeah, always makes sense. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. My name is Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. The Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Big man, Big Mike, Coach Mike McCarthy is next on the Mason Crosby Show.
Let's go.
And welcome back to the Mason Crosby Show. We are presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. My name is Mitch Nelson, a.k.a. Thunder. Tommy Wirtz is here, and Mason Crosby is here on this beautiful Friday before a great weekend of sports and football. And Mason, I'm going to let you do the introduction. Here's Mason Crosby.
All right. Yes. Welcome to the show, Coach Mike McCarthy, former Packers coach, Super Bowl champ, Dallas Cowboys for a stint, which, it always pains all of us, but what a great time. Coach, it's so good to see you. Really appreciate you jumping on. I was watching you on McAfee's show. I would love to know what you're up to these days. I see you weekly on his show. So you still studying ball, still focused in on the football world. What are you up to?
Well, thanks, number one, guys, for having me on, Mason. It's great to see you. But I'm frankly, I'm enjoying life in Wisconsin. It's been incredible coming back home, and the kids are back at Notre Dame, middle school and high school. So loving that. But just getting back in touch with, life up here and, in Green Bay and Door County has been awesome. Had a great summer. But yes, so my days are full. I got time that's dedicated to football, and time number one is being a dad, getting to do the things, as you know, Mason, in this industry, you miss out on a lot. So I'm really enjoying the drives to school, the pickup to school, all the little things that you miss out on as a father. For so many decades, so it's been great to get back, and but I'm keeping really busy, and it's been really cool to be home.
I love hearing that. Yeah, Coach. I mean, I was, Molly, and I was, I decided it's like, all right, my career's over. It was about 6 months, and she's like, that's probably why I'm doing radio right now, because she's just like, hey, you got to fill your day with something. Like, it's awesome that you're taking the kids, doing all that, but it's like, let's
get off your butt,
see you
Mason.
Do something every once in a while. So I went over to the dark side. I'm doing this media thing, which a lot of your former players are doing now, mind you. Like, this is we got a big contingent of us, but I want to dive into a couple things. Looking at, and I heard you say on the McAfee show, and seeing these reports, you're going to the game this weekend. Yeah. So I'm curious, who invited you to the game? Was it your boy Aaron? Was it Steelers? Was it Packers? Like, which way? Who invited you to this game this weekend?
Just very, very blessed to have friends on both sides of this contest. So it's I really, my plan was just to go back and watch it with my parents. So, but
nice.
Our oldest son's going back. I have nephews that are going, so I'm going to accompany them guys and just kind of slide in and slide out, because there's nothing like seeing a live football. I was so fortunate to be able to go to I actually was at the first two home games for the Packers this year. So it was just so cool to be a fan, stand there and watch the game. And so I definitely want to take that in Sunday night. But yeah, I'm really trying to get back, Pittsburgh being my hometown, really trying to get back to home to see particularly my parents and my family as much as I can. So this was really kind of a scheduled visit. So, frankly, that's why I'm heading back, and I'll probably stay for a number of days.
I love that. Yeah, it's so awesome. And I always remember some of your stories from night before the games, talking about, the bar and the fights in the school, all the different things, the Pittsburgh tough. And it's so awesome. And it, the irony that Aaron now is playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and, the connection that we all had, and those memories and those moments that we had together in Green Bay. A question I have for you is, I feel fortunate that I didn't have to ever experience this, playing in Green Bay all those years. And then whenever I went to New York for a couple games, I didn't, play against the Packers. But what was that like for you? And what do you think Aaron's going through in this first time going up against, your former team that you have so many memories, so many relationships, so many connections with? What does that feel like?
Well, it's definitely real, and I think we're all programmed to say the right things when you get in front of a camera or get in front of a microphone. But I did see, I guess he made a comment. It'd probably be a lot different for him if it was in Lambeau, and I definitely agree with that from experience. So, the emotional part of it is tremendous. I know going back to Green Bay in 2022, that was difficult to walk out on the field because that's when it really hits you. You think you're fine, and because you have so much that you need to do leading up to the game, and you get into that game day mode. But personally, when I went back, when I went to the Cowboys, I would always go to the home games really early, and but I started doing it on the away games too. So it's just, I think after being out with football, I just love Sundays so much. My point is being, so I was at Lambeau, I would go with the trainers in the equipment guys. So you're there 4.5 hours before the game. And it was really cool because as you go throughout the NFL, particularly on the road, you get to know the grounds crew. You get to know all their stadium people. So because you're there so long, but so going in early at Lambeau was awesome because seeing Scotty Peters and Justin Crabb and all those security guys that that we got to know over the years there. So getting to see so much of the just the local people was really good, and I really wasn't planning on that, and frankly, Aaron and I had a chance to visit in a private location before the game, and that was important to me, and I think both of us, and I'm glad we did that because and frankly, it was like old times. I mean, we actually met a lot longer than I thought we would have, but but then he went out and played. He played his ass off. So I don't know if that was the right thing for me.
You made him feel comfortable. Yeah, it's like all right, just like the good old days.
Too comfortable,
no doubt. So, but so that was good. So I think you need to embrace it. I think running is the point I'm trying to make. Is you're that place is you always be a part of that, and and Green Bay will always be a big part of Aaron's life, and and I think the pregame, or particularly as the pregame, the early time to go out, I think it'll be a special time for him because he'll get to see the people, particularly the support staff, and this better than anybody, Mason. The guys in Green Bay are incredible. I mean, it's just people who've been there forever, and so I think he'll enjoy that. But but once the ball snapped, he'll have a little bit extra, and because it'll be important to him to win the game. No different for the Packers to go in there and get this win. So, but I think it's going to be a great game. I'm looking forward to the environment. But yeah, I hope he embraces it because it's real. You can't hide from it. I did the same thing, and I know really actually Dak Prescott and I talked about the game in Green Bay after the fact, like after the season. And I was always, and I think my mode, Mason. I never wanted to be a distraction, and I always try to keep it always about the players. And Dak had told me, he goes, frankly, I wish you would have got up here and just, said, hey, F the Packers, and show us how important this was to you to win that game. And that was interesting that he expressed that to me after the fact. So, so next time, if I was Matt LaFleur, I'd tell him to go flip Aaron off and tell him to go.
Go get after
nice.
Do it, man. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But I do think it's important, and you do want to make sure you're emotionally right for your teammates and everybody involved. But there's going to be a lot of emotions run through his veins. I think it's only natural.
Coach Mike McCarthy joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. And Coach, as a follow-up to that, we've heard Aaron talk a lot this week about how much Green Bay meant to him and sharing all sorts of memories. He was talking about a game from 2009, I think, the other day, where it's like he still knew play by play, everything that happened. And he's talked about how this is not a revenge game in any way, where I think, maybe when Favre went to the Vikings, we felt like there was a little more of that animosity than we're feeling. What does it mean to you as his former coach and having the ties to the Packers that you have, that he's taken this kind of like attitude of, yes, he really wants to win this game, and there might be a little extra juice there, but that it feels like it's been a pretty positive week in terms of the relationship between Aaron and the Packers?
I think like a lot of things in life, when relationships come to an end, they all do at some point in professional sports. I think the exit is a big part of that, and I think just the way he was able to leave, and be a part of that decision, and go on to his next opportunity. And now this is his third opportunity. I just think the emotion potential negative emotion is not there. I mean, it's removed from the situation, and that's so. And frankly, the Packers deserve that, and Aaron Rodgers deserves that. So I just think it's a healthy situation, and I hope he enjoys the hell out of it. And but I think it'd be naive to think that he's going to feel the emotion of seeing that G on that helmet across the field.
Yeah, it's going to be so different. I wonder if that's why the Steelers chose to wear the alternate jerseys, almost make the Packers go into their white alternate stuff. So it's just all right, there's no confusion here. Aaron's not going to get up there and be like, oh my gosh, look at that helmet. That looks really familiar. Coach, I just even talking to you and thinking kind of reminiscing, thinking back. I mean, what a great run we had. It's with Ted Thompson setting up those teams, with you leading the way. I look back and filled with so much gratitude with that time that we had together, right? So many amazing moments, so many awesome things. And then I did start thinking about this year with you not being in Dallas anymore, the Green Bay Packers making that trade with Micah Parsons. We had a few big movements there, but I don't think we were ever involved in anything like that, of that magnitude. So I actually kind of want to ask a two-part, what would that have been like, feeling that trade and getting a guy like Micah Parsons coming to Green Bay? And had you still been in Dallas, what would your feel have been as a head coach? And it's you just traded away, our best defensive player. I'm just curious to see, from that perspective as a head coach, what that might feel like.
Oh, that's a great question. I think, first off, I think what you learn as a head coach, and it's through trial and error, I know it was for me personally, is you have to separate the business component for the players and even the coaches. We went through it as a coaching staff in 24, but Micah Parsons was in a contract situation, and we all had contracts, and everybody's situation is personal to them and with the club. You've been through it, and so you have to respect that and have a high understanding, because until you go through it, it's difficult. So let's not make it more difficult with opinions on both sides of the spectrum. I've always felt so. I've always believed that you have to support the player or the individual in the contract situation, and then obviously as the head coach, you're working for the club. So it's a I think it's just a position you got to be operate with clarity. So with that being said, I was glad to see Micah Parsons get the contract, whether it was in Dallas or in Green Bay, and obviously you had some communication with the Green Bay people about him. So, because he deserved that contract. I mean, he has earned that. I mean, the way he's performed, the first 4 years of his career, he has earned that contract. So on a personal level, as a head coach, I mean, you always want to see your players get paid, particularly, when you have to wait and earn it and they go through, because it is difficult. It's difficult on them. It's difficult on their families, more importantly. So I was happy to see that. But the reality of it is, for the Dallas Cowboys, it really, Mason, has put them in the realm that I was always preaching and what we lived in with Ted. I mean, draft and develop. I mean, that our era together is the blueprint. I mean, it's from 06, all the way through. I mean, that was something that we just really committed to. Now we had we had some great free agents in Charles Woodson and Julius Peppers and some of those guys that we sprinkled in. But the core of our football team that moved the needle on our roster every year was those guys that are already there, fighting to get those second contracts, and you build it. And really, Dallas is in that mindset right now. So I think the roster is as healthy as it's ever been from a financial standpoint. There's been more second contracts done in Dallas in the last 2 months than there was in prior years. So, their draft and develop, mechanism has increased, which I think will help them continue to grow, because that's a young football team. I don't think people realize how young that team is. That's a young team, and now those guys are all in their second, third, fourth year, and some of those, they got the 2 big contracts with CD and Dak, but you got a lot of really good football players, and that was always our strength. It was always exciting for me when you guys got that second contract, because those are the guys I wanted to coach. We've already been together 3 or 4 years, and it was, I thought that was a huge component of our success. in Green Bay because, you just go back to, and I think teams have to trust their tradition. When you look at when you win in Green Bay and how you won, we had 77 players. I'll never forget ring night, and you can only start the season with 65, 66 at that time. It's 68 now. But so that means we had to go outside of our original, group and bring free agents in season. And those guys came in and obviously helped push us, into that playoff run and win a Super Bowl. So my point is, you cannot have enough good football players. And how do you attain that? You trust your draft process, and fight like hell, and develop those guys, give them everything, and then get that second contract. So I think that's where really the bulk of your team comes from, and and Green Bay's been doing that for decades.
I love it. We got Coach Mike McCarthy on the Mason Crosby Show. Just talking ball, reminiscing, diving down memory lane a little bit. But I have to talk about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, and their comparisons are wild right now. Like, I hadn't looked at it that close, but I saw some of their stat lines in their year 3 as the starter and how similar they are at this moment. From just kind of your breaking down film, watching the games, kind of looking at it. Obviously, talk about Aaron as a young player, and then kind of what you see in Jordan Love and his development, as he's been the starter now for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, it's been really cool to watch Jordan, especially, being here in Green Bay and seeing the games every week. And actually, as I said, I had a chance to go to the first 2 home games, so good to see him play live. But you remember, 08 was a tough year for all of us, just the way, that training camp went. And then I think we had, 10 games that came down to a 2-minute drill, and we were 2-8 or something.
Yep.
Crazy, which was something that I think helped us, learn from that. And I think Aaron went on to be, I think he'll go down as one of the greatest 2-minute quarterbacks. I think that experience really helped us because we actually spent a lot more time on it after that. But, so he had the 08, his initial season was tough. He had the shoulder injury he played through, which was pretty remarkable, coming out of that Tampa Bay game and lining up against Atlanta. And so, so he had those training. And I thought really 09 is when he arrived. I mean, I thought our 09 second half of the season, we were, probably one of the best teams in football. If not, I thought that run, after losing to Pittsburgh on the last play to Ben Roethlisberger to Mike.
Right in the corner. Yeah.
Oh man, it was a killer. But overtime game, I think, too. So I mean, it was but we went on that run at the end of 09, and I thought he played at an MVP level. So I really felt that he, had that here we go, moment that, he, because, the 08 was his first year as a starter. And then 10 was a hard year. The injuries were, our injury challenge was monumental there in the early year, especially that, the Washington game. I still remember the yellow card that they used, I'd write down the names of the guys that were injured. And it was the first time I had to flip it over and had names on the back. So, I mean, there was so many guys in that game. So that was a really hard year for us, but definitely for him too. I mean, and, we had some big moments in, the game at Atlanta, in the regular season near the end where he just played out of his mind. And just the one throw he had to Jordy to his left in the corner end zone, still one of the many great throws that he's made in his time. And I think that obviously gave us tremendous confidence going back down there in the divisional round, in the playoff. So, but then, then once we hit our stride into the playoffs and he played at such a high level, at the Super Bowl, won the MVP, and then obviously 11 was his first MVP year. So, when you see that ride that he had, his first 3 years were not smooth sailing. I mean, he has some really tough up and down moments, as we did as a team. And so I do think Jordan has seen some of those similar peaks and valleys, which is so healthy for him. And I think he'll be better for it moving forward. So I do hope he takes that next big step here. Year 3 would be awesome, to see them make a run like that with him at the helm. But yeah, the numbers are scary. But when you look at the trend lines of, some of the things they have to go through, the ups and downs, there are a tremendous amount of similarities.
Yeah, for sure. It actually, it does feel similar there in Green Bay right now, like with that 2010 team, with some of those early teams, like try to establish a great run game, have defensive players that are elite and unique. I mean, that 09 defense was was ridiculous down the stretch, right? I mean, they were so good.
The 10 defense is the best defense we ever had.
And then 10, yeah, exactly. I mean,
I think it ranked in the league. Yeah, so that was the best defense on paper. I mean, statistically, of my head coaching career in Green Bay. So sorry to interrupt you here, Mason.
No, I love like, because that stretch of time was just it was so unique. And then I know we could go back into all the all the coffers. I've relived a bunch of those moments on the show, where it's just like, oh gosh, like 2011 and 14 and all the the
don't even
16,
mention mention some of that, Mason. Come on.
Yeah, just just hardships, but we got that Super Bowl, we got it done, and that was so special. I do want to I want to ask about you said you're watching film, you're kind of doing some of the stuff. Is your goal to get back into coaching in the NFL, or there's a trend of some coaches, former NFL coaches, going to NCAA? Is that somewhere? There was a picture of you at a UW Badgers women's volleyball game.
Yeah, Coach, I got a question for
Tommy's
you.
got a question.
Yeah,
for you.
Coach, I just want you to rank these 3 colors, if you could, for me here. Crimson, all right, scarlet, and University of Wisconsin red. Which one do you think fits the best for you? Because I just want to know where you're at with the color red right now.
Well, this is one of many things I love about Wisconsin. The pride here is as thick as it gets. There's nothing like it. And I think, growing up in Pittsburgh, you don't realize it until you leave there. I trust me, I get it. And I truly went there to see the volleyball. My youngest daughter, Izzy, just played on a national championship volleyball team in Dallas, had a tremendous experience in that, and we know what, University of Wisconsin women's volleyball stands for. I mean, just what an incredible program. Just the whole day was it was incredible for her and her friends that are also volleyball players. So that was
that's awesome.
It's a great day that they set up for us. But also, I mean, Jessica and I have a relationship with the University of Wisconsin and Children's Hospital. So we're very fond of Madison and everything that goes on. Have such great respect for the university and all their sports teams. I've had opportunities to go down there and see Greg with the basketball team in the past and so forth and so forth. So, I mean, hey, I think University of Wisconsin's a great place. But to answer your question about coaching, I have to, I think it's like, you got to keep your head in it, and it's been fun. I just have a couple of coaches that I'm a lot tighter group than I did the last time. Because in 19, we almost had like a half of a coaching staff here. Not that many guys, but it was full bore on. there's
You're
stuff
basically running a full season schedule, right? Like,
we had
19.
every Monday and Tuesday, and so there's still things that I could use today that we never used from the 2019 McCarthy project.
Nice.
So, but I'm really taking a dive back into some of the things offensively I've done early in my career, because this league's about trends, but ultimately you got to fit the schemes to your players, and the flexibility within the West Coast offensive system that I've been a part of in 1989. I'm going back to that. We went a different direction in Dallas for all the right reasons. When I went there, Dak had been been there since 2016. So I wanted to build off of what he established already in that current system. I thought that was so important. I witnessed Joe Montana going through the same system his whole career. Brett Favre, same system his whole career. Aaron Rodgers, same system his career. So I thought that was very important for us to do that with Dak, and I think it really benefited. He benefited from that, our 5 years, and I think it's definitely helped him because hey, the quarterback's your franchise player, so I think it's a smart decision to go that way to build that system clearly around them. So I'm getting more back in tune with how we did it in Green Bay, but really the system I've been in since 1989. So that's really what I'm getting ready for. The game management stuff, you're always seeing things happen week in and week out. So you check that box, add that situation and so forth. The head coaching, philosophical setups that you have, and that just staying in tune with that.
Do you practice on the kids there up there in Green? Like you practice on the kids at the house? It's like, all right, managing the kids is is harder sometimes, or similar. I mean, it's actually similar. We're all just big kids there in the locker room, anyways.
Well, I hope you're having more success than I am, because if my players listened to me like my kids, they would have fired me after the first game. So,
exactly.
Teenage daughters are a trip. I love every minute of it, but it's nice to get your chops busted all the time from your teenage daughters. So, I'm loving life in that area.
Well, Coach, yeah, so obviously here in my house, I have 5 girls that tell me I'm wrong every second of every day. So it's just like, I just like wait to, till they ask me a question. And then it's odd. They ask me questions. And then whenever I give an answer that I thought they might like, I'm still wrong. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Dad, you're an idiot.
Exactly. All right. Well, we do our predictions for games every week. I know this might be tough, with the Steelers and the Packers, but what do you see in this game? Do you like watching both teams? Like, how do you think they match up, and what do you think the result's going to be on Sunday?
Yeah, I think this is one of the old school. I don't even know if they do this anymore. I know when I was a kid, back in my dad's bar, you always look for the pick'em games, so you didn't have to give anybody any points. I think this is clearly that type of game. I kind of felt this way when Packers and the Cowboys played. I just, so when you get in these tight ball games on paper going in, I mean, Captain Obvious is the turnover ratio. That'll be critical. I haven't seen. Have you seen the weather? Has anybody seen the weather for?
It looks nice. I think. Yeah. Like maybe low 50s at game time.
Pittsburgh weather Sunday night. 56 and clear.
There you go.
Yep. That's perfect. And as you know, Aaron's a great bad weather quarterback anyways. Jordan, they both, I think they both do a really good job taking care of the football. So, but I think, just watching the games leading up to this, I mean, just watching last Thursday, and I know Pittsburgh has a mini bye week coming off it, but, Pittsburgh's run defense is going to be challenged, and I think, that's something that they're going to have to stop the Packers from running the football, because I do think Packers do a really nice job of committing to that. And, but Green Bay's, their weaponry in the perimeter. I love their perimeter guys. I mean, they have the ability to, attack the middle of the field with both the tight ends and the receivers, and they got dynamic guys that, just get the ball in his hands. So, and I think it really helps Jordan. He has to play completion football. He doesn't have to go try to get the ball to a certain player, and I think that always bodes well. And it's what I believe in how you should play as a quarterback, and try to get above that 70% completion rate. And if you watch Aaron last week against Cincinnati, he's definitely, I felt like he hit his stride of getting that football to all the tight ends, the backs, and obviously Metcalf's going to get his 12 targets every game. So, I think he's starting to hit his stride. And, what I'm always curious too, when you sit there and watch him, is, his cadence is such a weapon. And now the familiarity now with that offensive line, that I'm sure that's getting better each week, as they go through the season. So I think this is going to be a hell of a football game, but this game's going to be about defense. It's going to be about defense. And I think whatever defense obviously plays the best will win the game, because I think both these differently. I think Pittsburgh's offense is obviously different than how Green Bay is going to play, but they both have showed that they can go north of 30, pretty consistently now.
Well, I love it. Coach, I really appreciate you jumping on, taking the time. When I got that text this morning, I was so excited. And you talking about your coaching philosophy. I've talked about this a ton on the show, and great coaches coach their players, and they coach their players' strengths. And you're one of those great coaches where you look at who you have on your roster, you build it around them, and you make them you unlock the best out of everybody. So, Coach, I really appreciate you. Have fun out there in Pittsburgh, and go Pack, go.
Oh, thank you. You look great, Mason. Guys, thanks for having me.
I know a little more gray, but it's the stress of all these girls.
Thanks, Coach.
Take care, guys. Thank you.
That's all Coach right, Mike McCarthy with us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. So much to unpack from that. We got to get to break. We will come back. We're going to talk some fantasy football at the top of the 1 o'clock. This is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of our Green Bay Packers. This is the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Our thanks to Mike McCarthy. Mason coaches the best.
Yeah, he's a pro. He answered everything or didn't, but
exactly.
He does it in a way that it's really enjoyable.
Crimson is third, it sounds like. Crimson is third.
Mikey Henninger, Basement Brewed Fantasy Football, will join us on the other side. Text in your fantasy football questions, 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. Right here on the Mason Crosby Show. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the #1 network in Milwaukee, on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Yep. Hour number 2. Mike McCarthy was on hour number 1. If you're just tuning in right now, listen to the rest of the show. So don't go anywhere from there. But at some point, do yourself a favor and go listen to Big Mike McCarthy on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. He was on for most of the last hour. He was fantastic. Our thanks to Coach. He was great, Mason.
Yeah, I really appreciate him. It was, again, like I said, whenever he texted me this morning, he was like, hey, like my time's changed. If you want me on, I was like, yep, let's go. And
say less.
The fact that he stayed on for 30 minutes was awesome. I mean, what a great guy. And just listening to him talk ball, like, and he sounds kind of like, the Coach McCarthy I know from, like, whenever I first got there in Green Bay. Like, he seems rejuvenated, ready to roll. I love what he's talking about, kind of getting back to his roots. So it's going to be awesome that he's there at the game. I hope they show him, and just him going out and seeing his family and doing all that. Like, it's a cool moment in time for Coach McCarthy. And so, again, what a great guy too. Moves back to Green Bay, raising his kids there, doing all that. Like, no better person in sports than Coach Mike.
Doesn't hate the color red.
No,
doesn't hate red.
That's what we've gotten from coaching searches.
So thanks to Mike McCarthy for joining us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. And part of why we love watching the NFL is because we love playing fantasy football. Joining us now on, of course, the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law, from Basement Brood Fantasy Football, he is Mikey Henninger. Mikey, from one Mike to another, what a way to follow Big Mike McCarthy to Mikey Henninger in fantasy football.
What's up, gentlemen? Yeah, my brother-in-law, Davey, just texted me. He's like, how in the world are you supposed to follow the old ball coach? And I'm like, hey, man, listen, as a small one-man business owner in Milwaukee, I'm just happy to be mentioned in the same breath as Mike McCarthy. So I'm happy to follow up that act for sure. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, that's great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mikey. Well, yeah, you get to hit off our next, our second hour. That first hour flew by, so I can't believe it's already after 1 o'clock. But yeah, just let's dive into the weekend and dive into what's going on in the world of fantasy football. So, obviously with Coach McCarthy, we talked a lot about the Steelers-Packers game. What matchups, what guys, like if you're doing a daily fantasy, who would you be putting in that matchup?
Yeah, so there's actually a lot of friendly fantasy football matchups in this upcoming contest between the Packers and Steelers. So starting on the Steelers side, Steelers tight ends actually look pretty good in this contest. So you're talking Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, even Darnell Washington has been getting involved for the Steelers.
Big guy. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers has been peppering his tight ends with 53% of his targets over the last 2 weeks. More than half of his targets are going to tight ends, which is crazy. But the Packers are allowing the most catches, 10th most yards, 3rd most touchdowns, and 2nd most PPR points per game to opposing tight ends. We saw Trey McBride drop 29 plus on him last week. We've seen 3 other tight ends score 17 plus against the Packers. It's a good spot to fire up Steelers tight ends if you have any. Now, the caveat there, though, is that there's 3 of them. There's not one surefire tight end like the Packers have, Tucker Kraft, who, by the way, is also in a great matchup of his own. The Steelers are allowing the 3rd most PPR points per game to tight ends. We've seen 4 different tight ends put 10 plus on them. We've seen 2 different tight ends put 15 plus. You got Packers wide receivers. They have a really nice matchup with the Steelers. Romeo Doubs, Matthew Golden in particular. The Steelers are allowing the most catches, most receiving yards, 5th most PPR points per game. And we've seen 7 different wide receivers in just 6 games score 15 plus PPR points against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So basically, the passing attack for the Packers looks like
everybody.
Start everybody. Except Josh Jacobs. No, I'm just kidding. You still want Josh Jacobs in there, but this one sets up for the Packers passing game more than the run game, believe it or not.
Mikey, what about Jaylen Warren this week? Because that's another thing I always see with Green Bay. It just seems like they give up that, it's all about bend, don't break on the defensive side. And the Steelers not afraid to get the running back involved in the pass game. How's that matchup look?
Yeah, Jaylen Warren is perfectly fine. And that's largely because he's getting the volume, right? We're seeing him getting 15 plus touches a game with the Pittsburgh Steelers. In fact, he's averaging about 17 plus touches per game, which is about 4 targets. Now, the matchup is tough. The Packers are really, really tough on running backs this year. They're actually holding them to the 3rd fewest PPR points per game. But typically when you have a running back like Jaylen Warren, that doesn't matter as much in fantasy football because, like you said, Tommy, he's active in the passing game, right? It's usually those Derrick Henry types that only run the ball. Those are the types of running backs that are going to struggle against Green Bay. But Jaylen Warren's fine. I wouldn't say there's a lot of upside there just based on the matchup, but he's an okay play this week if you have him and you're considering starting him.
Awesome. This morning, I just, was kind of looking at my my lineup in my friendly, league. It's just kind of a normal deal. And Matthew Golden was available, so I snagged him up. I think it's time. I think it's time to unleash Matthew Golden. He needs to score 1 or 2 touchdowns in this game. Do you think that was a good pickup? And in your opinion, Mikey, is he going to score more than 2 touchdowns this game?
More than 2 touchdowns? I don't know. We're still looking for number 1 on the season. But here's the thing with Matthew Golden, guys. There's a big day coming. We just don't know when. We don't know when it's going to happen, but he is playing plenty of the snaps. He's seeing 4 to 6 targets in each of the last 4 games, 37 to 86 yards in each of the last 4 games. Like, there is a big day coming for Matthew Golden. We just don't know when. Now, it could definitely be this week, right? Prime time against Aaron Rodgers. Great matchup. The Steelers allow a ton of production to opposing wide receivers, and Matthew Golden is playing full-time snaps in that offense. We did see Green Bay try and get him involved early last week, right? I think he had the very first target of the game, but then he didn't do anything till the 4th quarter. But you see a trend in fantasy football over the last several years where rookie wide receivers really take off down the second half of the season. We saw it with Ladd McConkey. We saw it with Rashee Rice. I'm not saying Matthew Golden is those guys, but he certainly can be.
I have a question as we shift to like the rest of the NFL. Does it ever concern you, like some of these matchups, like say like it's Bengals versus Jets? And it's like the Bengals should stomp on the Jets. They have like the weapons to go at. Like, does it concern you that they get up on them too much? They start running the ball, and it's like a Jamar Chase doesn't have a game that you're expecting him to have. Is that a concern?
So it's definitely a concern. I wouldn't say it's a concern for this particular game. So that's where I usually like to look at what Vegas sportsbooks are thinking. Right now they have the Jets or the Bengals favored by 6, which is not, that's significant, but you see other games like, for example, the Colts and the Titans. The Colts are favored by 14.5. That's the type of the game where you get to the 4th quarter, and maybe it's not so much Jonathan Taylor as much as it's their rookie DJ Giddens, kind of in mop-up duty trying to finish the game. But Jets Bengals, man, you're firing up Jamar. You're not thinking twice about that one for sure.
All right, that one was for you, Tommy. Just making sure you weren't thinking about sitting in this week.
I mean, Jamar, Joe Flacco's the guy now. Like, I feel like that it was better that Joe Flacco was the quarterback than Joe Burrow was the quarterback for Jamar Chase this year in fantasy points wise. Feel free
to get your fantasy questions in on the Nicolay Law Talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. You can also throw them into the YouTube chat. The YouTube chat is open. That's at WI Sports Radio. Scotty Tiffany wants to know, can I start Bo Nix over Josh Allen? And Scotty Tiffany also has Cortland Sutton. So, kind of likes that double up if they have a big game together. They are playing Dallas, right? Which should be a shootout.
If there is a week to start Bo Nix, this is the one with Dallas. But man, that is not me saying you start him over Josh Allen. There's very rarely a scenario where I will bench Josh Allen. In fact, if you have Josh Allen, you don't even need to roster Bo Nix.
Another quarterback, right?
Man, I got to tell you guys, it looks like it's going to be a shootout with Dallas. The Cowboys are absolutely miserable when it comes to quarterbacks, right? They're allowing the most fantasy points per game. These guys are giving up over 25 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. We've seen 7 quarterbacks in 7 games score 18 plus against Dallas. We're talking Bryce Young, Jaden Daniels, Justin Fields, Jalen Hurts. All of those guys scored 18 plus. Justin Fields scored 18 plus. We had 24 plus from Jordan Love, Caleb Williams, Russell Wilson. Like it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Any of us 4 could play quarterback and probably score 20 plus fantasy points against Dallas.
I know I could. I think
So
Mason could. Not sure about Connor.
If there's a week to try it, go for it. But I'm not recommending you go Bo Nix over Josh Allen. Josh Allen's one of those guys that if you have him, you put him in your lineup no matter what.
All right, make sure you get your questions in. We got Mikey Henninger from Basement Brood of Fantasy Football. Go to the Nicolay Law Fan Talking text line, 414-677-1250. Get your questions in because we got some good ones rolling.
Yeah, 414 writes in, and this one, I know Tommy's going to be really excited about this one. 414 says, should I start Daniel Jones or Baker Mayfield this week?
Yeah, what Mikey said about Josh Allen is how I feel about Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield has become, since he went to Tampa, he's become one of those every week QB1 type of quarterbacks. I mean, his matchup against the Saints isn't bad. The Buccaneers have a nice projected team total of 25 plus. Saints allowing the 9th most fantasy points per game to quarterbacks. There's a little bit of shootout appeal to that game with a 46.5 point over under. I'm liking Baker there. It's hard to bench Daniel Jones considering the season he's having.
Although they could just give it to Jonathan Taylor all day long because they're playing the Titans. So that could be they get up 21-0 with a couple running touchdowns, and they're not going to throw the ball again the rest of the game.
That's exactly where I was going. So
Thunder knows ball.
You got it, man. Thunder's got it, dude. I mean, the Titans are giving up the 3rd most PPR points per game to running backs. So you got Jonathan Taylor, who's averaging like 1.6 touchdowns per game. Just put it in his belly and let him do his thing. Colts are favored by 14.5. I mean, this screams a game where Daniel Jones doesn't even throw 25 passes. And his rushing production has been limited too. I'm going to go Baker in this one.
Yeah, Tommy, if I heard it correctly, I think Mikey's favorite quarterback is Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, why wouldn't you be?
Okay, that's what I heard.
He's your favorite quarterback's favorite quarterback. If you don't know that by now,
he's
Baker
my favorite
Mayfield.
kickers. He's my favorite kickers.
Exactly.
So Jeff writes in on YouTube, and he's got the exact same thing I had because I also started Quentin Johnson last week. He said, I made the mistake of starting Quentin Johnson this week. Do you think he'll bounce back or should I drop him? He did play the 2nd most snaps of wide receivers for the Chargers last night after Ladd McConkey. He played more than Keenan Allen. He played more than Trey Jones. And Mikey, before we get to Jeff's question, because I want the answer to that as well, I will say that at least I picked up Oronde Gadsden as my tight end last night as well. So I offset some of that Quentin Johnston debacle.
So somebody's been reading the newsletter.
Yes, that's right here. Quentin Johnston with no targets, not even no catches. No targets.
Yeah.
Man, here's the thing with Quentin Johnson, right? Coming into the season, we knew he was a boom or bust wide receiver, right? The problem is, no, I guess it's not a problem, but he boomed for the first month of the season. The guy was putting up numbers, points after points after points every single week. I don't think you're in a spot where you can drop him. I mean, he's still seeing over 20% of the targets even after last night's debacle. But you are going to see more of that moving forward. You're going to see more boom or bust throughout that entire offense, right? They got Gadsden, who looks like the real deal at tight end. They got Quentin Johnson. They got Keenan Allen. They have Ladd McConkey. There's a lot of different ways that they could go with the ball. And by the way, eventually Omarion Hampton's going to be back. They're going to want to get their rookie going again. So unfortunately, with all of those guys, there's going to be some boom or bust. But as much as Quentin Johnson got you 0 points yesterday, he's a good bet for 20 points next week. So it's especially as bye weeks start to roll in, I wouldn't be dropping him. He's going to have big days again, but you're going to have to ride that roller coaster of possibly 0, possibly 20. It's just that's the profile that he is.
All right. Anyone else kind of across the NFL that you're looking at to have a big week this week? Any surprises? Any sleepers?
And a lot of buys.
Who you putting on your waiver wire? What's going on?
Man, dude, it depends how much time we got left. I'll say I'm targeting anybody who's I'm targeting anybody who's on the Denver Broncos, right? We talked about that shootout with the Cowboys. The Cowboys are terrible pretty much everywhere. They give up a ton of points to quarterback, second most points to wide receivers, sixth most points to running back. So I'm firing up Cortland Sutton if I have him. If you're looking for a sleeper, we talked about him a couple weeks ago on the show, Troy Franklin. He's in a good spot to have a nice day, but I wouldn't say he's in a much better spot than other guys like Marvin Mims or even their rookie, Pat Bryant, who's been getting more involved, although he hasn't done much with the opportunity. I'm targeting a lot of players from our friends a little bit to the south, the Chicago Bears. They're going up against Baltimore, who's just been atrocious this year on the defensive side of the ball. They're giving up the second most points to quarterbacks. Good spot for Caleb Williams.
How do you feel about Lamar Jackson?
If he's going to go, you got to start him. There's no way you can bench him, So it's just keep an eye on practice reports and get him in there. But yeah, I mean, you feel good about DeAndre Swift against the Ravens. You feel good about Bears wide receivers against the Ravens. Those are pretty much the offenses I'm targeting there. But I mean, I could go on for the next 30 minutes if you let me. So it depends how deep you want to go with this.
I got 2 quarterback questions. We got one in the Nicolay Law fan talking text line. Josh Allen or Daniel Jones?
Josh Allen, come on, go away. We already know the answer.
Who would have thought we would get that question?
I'm trying to engage the fans.
No, I love it. I love it.
No, the listeners are out there. Play Daniel Jones. That's what Mikey said. Play Daniel Jones.
You didn't know. You didn't know. No, you did not.
I'm just throwing shade. Relax.
Yeah. No, these views are not associated with basically.
Disclaimer.
Unless it's right. Unless Daniel Jones scores more, then yes, I agree. Start Daniel Jones.
That was a funny one because we obviously know Josh Allen. But I for my fantasy team, Drake May or I have Aaron Rodgers on the bench. I think I know the answer. I wouldn't play Aaron in this game against this Green Bay defense, but it is Aaron Rodgers.
You're playing with your heart, Mason.
And Dak Prescott, with a really smart, savvy quarterback, was able to get something done against this defense. But I'm planning on rolling with Drake May against the Cleveland Browns. I don't know.
Drake May has become one of those guys that's an every week QB1. He's getting you 20 plus fantasy points every single game. I mean, there's no denying the difficulty of the matchup, though. Like, Cleveland is tough on quarterback. This is a tough one.
My quarterbacks are going up against tough defenses.
Yeah, and they're holding them to the third fewest fantasy points per game. The Packers have Micah Parsons, and that's cool and all, but as far as fantasy points go, they do allow production to quarterbacks. And you got Aaron Rodgers going against his old team. I know he says he's fond, it's fond memories, and he's got great memories. It's not a revenge game, but he doesn't want to play. He wants to play well.
He's going to want to slice them up, yeah.
Listen, I'm never the fantasy analyst that wants to make decisions based off of theories like that. I like making my decisions off of data and science and facts and all these things. But if anybody knows in this room how Aaron Rodgers can play when he has a chip on his shoulder and feels like he has something to prove, he can be a pretty dangerous man. We saw what he did to the Jets a couple weeks ago. But all of that being said, I can't picture benching Drake May where he's at right now. I do like Aaron Rodgers as a streamer. If there's somebody out there who needs maybe they had Jaden Daniels and they're in a pinch and they need to pick up a quarterback. I like Aaron Rodgers, but Drake May is just one of those guys that he's on fire right now. I can't see benching him.
Okay.
Nice. Right. BasementBroodFF.com, BasementBroodFF.com. Follow Mikey Henninger on all the socials. And of course, Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Is that when we hit it?
Sunday morning, 8 a.m. Yeah, as many start-sit questions as I can answer, or even trade whatever questions, maybe meaning of life questions. I don't know.
But all right.
We'll be on for that one.
With Oronde Gadsden's emergence, should I look to trade Trey McBride in one league and or Sam Laporta in my other league based on what Gadsden has done?
No. So Gadsden is going to he's going to do to you what Quentin Johnston did to so many.
So trade him. Trade him while he's hot. Okay.
Hold on. Let me make it clear. I would only trade him if you already have Trey McBride, then yes, trade him. If you don't have a tight end, don't trade him, if that makes sense. But yeah. Sure, if you've got Laporta, if you've got Trey McBride, I would definitely put him on the trade block. I'm not saying what he did is a fluke. I'm just saying he's not going to do that every single game. He's hot right now. This is the time that you would want to cash in on that.
BasementBroodFF.com, BasementBroodFF.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Join. Get into the Q&As and all the fun stuff that Mikey Henninger is producing out there. Mikey, anything else going on?
No, man, we are closing in on 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We got less than 100 to go. So if you'd be so inclined, it costs you nothing to hit that subscribe button. Yeah, for sure.
Love that. Subscribe, Basement Brood FF on YouTube as well. Mikey, thank you so much for jumping on. And we will. Great job going from mic to mic right there. Like you held up your end of the donkey. Yeah.
Mike to Mikey. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Go Bucks tonight. Go Packers this weekend. And we'll talk to you guys next week.
Amen,
awesome.
Brother.
Thanks,
Mikey Henninger, basementbroodff.com. Mason, how's your team doing this year?
Well, again, we talked about this last week. I'm doing fine. Like as far as the team, I have a squad, but I've run up against juggernauts every week in my matchup. I've given up. Like they've scored the most points against me. I think so. Yeah, so it's been a little tough, but I think I'm on a 2-game win streak, so nice. I'm coming up. Yeah,
I think you and I need to commiserate on that one. I'm 3-4, and I have the second most points in my league, and I'm going against the guy who's 7-0 this week. And I picked up Gadsden, and I'm like patting myself on the back, and then Quentin Johnson gets a 0. So it's like I'm still it's like 49-51% for this week. But I'd really like to beat the guy who's 7-0 and just show everybody like my squad's legit, even though I'm 3-4. Yeah. And my points against are like 100 points more than everybody else.
Yeah, I also all three of us the most points against. I'm the only guy who has given up over 900 points this season.
Look at my 951 points against me.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and then points for I'm like third.
Yep.
So it's just like it's a disaster.
We know ball. It's just that we're unlucky.
Yeah,
I think that's it. Yeah, I mean, just know that ball. Like last night, it's like. Just got unlucky. Carson Wentz sucks. So
unlucky that Carson Wentz sucks.
That's what happened to me last night. Yeah, making that pick. It was just unlucky.
You bailed on your boy Herbert. That's just call
that
it
was
it
my. But see, I think I've been so bad. Like last week, I was good picking. The previous 2 weeks, I was so bad. So I think I picked the Vikings because I wanted them to lose.
Oh, okay.
I went that route. Yep. Wanted them to lose. So I figured I'll throw my 1 L this week at the Vikings.
I actually did the same thing with the Chargers. Like I was going to be like, I'm cool if they lose if I don't get the pick. But yeah, I thought they were gonna.
Well, and Rodgers had the interception for a touchdown on the first drive of the game, and like it barely grazed the ground. It was an incompletion, but he's got to catch that ball because it was the easiest pick six I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. Horrible throw by
that changed the whole complete game. I mean, that was crazy. Yeah.
920 wants to know between Troy Franklin, Harold Fannin, and Madden Taylor. I think we're pretty sure Troy Franklin because, as Mikey said, he loves everybody on Denver this week because they should put the wood to the Dallas Cowboys on offense. That could be a shootout.
It could be.
Yeah, that could be one of those games.
Should we get into some business ethics on the other side?
I mean, listen, our life is business ethics right now. Chauncey Billups coming up next. No, I'm just kidding. He's not. We didn't get Chauncey.
That would be wild.
That would be awesome.
That be wild if we got Chauncey Billups on the show?
It'd be the only time Mike McCarthy would not be the biggest guest on the show.
Yeah, right exactly. There.
Yeah. But we've got all sorts of stuff to get to in business ethics, including professional players can now play college basketball. What?
What's going on?
I don't even know what this means. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Remember, Sunday night after the football game, make the switch to the post-game show powered by Lakeland University. Steve Sparky Pfeiffer and Big T-Dub, TK, Kmart himself, Tommy Wirtz will welcome your calls and texts after the game Sunday night on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. This is the Mason Crosby Show.
Yes.
This is the Mason Crosby Show. It is indeed, Mason, in case you were wondering, it is Friday.
It is Friday,
Yes.
and everybody loves three white guys dancing around on YouTube. That's everybody loves
better.
that.
It's like the Brewers just won the pennant all over again.
Just all over again.
So obviously the story's famous that Rebecca Black, her family hired this producer to produce this video and the song. I want to know, are these actually her friends in the video, or did they hire, were they models or kid actors? I want to know who the other people in the video are.
But only you think like that. Yeah.
I mean,
you want to know the other.
I think a lot of things, Mason.
That's a fair
Welcome
point.
to my brain.
Who are the other people in this video?
Welcome to my brain.
So
big.
What a big super brain. Zoom from Mitch. Well, it is Friday, and I like to always have a story like this, and it felt like we had plenty of options, but time for another edition of
Business Ethic.
Yeah. So I would like to go to the G League and the NCAA, I guess, right now. London Johnson commits to the Louisville Cardinals after playing for the G League Ignite. And he will be in the 2026 class, so not this year. He will not be playing this year. But
how old is he?
He is going to be. He is 21 years old already, and he is going to. He was on the Cleveland Charge, which is obviously the Cleveland affiliate. He was also on the Maine Celtics as well, Mr. Nellis.
I believe that's the Maine lobster clause.
Maybe it is now.
Lobster clause. Yeah.
So Johnson's now going to be one of the first players to make the jump from the G League to the NCAA, and will arrive at the semester break and have 2 years of eligibility after playing in the G League. Now,
did he not get paid to play in the G League?
Does it matter anymore?
I don't know.
I think you still have to be an amateur to qualify for college.
This is also now there is another player, Abdullah Ahmed, also in the G League for Westchester.
The Knicks.
That is the Knicks affiliate. Yes. Who was originally from Egypt, has played the last 2 years for the Westchester Knicks, also 21 years old, appeared in 15 games last year, and he is down to 3 schools, BYU, Houston, and Mississippi State. And I just can't even believe that we are at this state of now professional athletes. I hope,
if you go from high school to the G League, now you can go to college from there.
That's what it sounds like here, and I know what it sounds like here.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
And I promise you, it is not.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I'm trying my best here to make sure everyone thinks that.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
So I want to know where you guys stand on this, because personally, if I was going to talk about it,
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
So
may God have mercy on your soul.
Can I ask a question before I get my whole thought wrapped around this? So say an international player, can they play internationally, professionally? If they, because I've seen some of that, right? Where it's someone from Europe or otherwise comes over to the States and goes to college. Have some of those athletes played professional sports in other countries before they come to America?
I'm not sure on that, but I do have under this how G League players can now play college basketball. There has been a clear shift in college basketball with the NCAA easing its stance on professional players making the move to the college game. In the past, any player that had played professionally would be ineligible from college. So it sounds like you could not go from Europe from there.
Sure.
All players needed to be amateurs, meaning that they hadn't taken a salary or signed any sort of pro contract. But NIL and revenue sharing has changed all of this. Once players could get paid, and the line between amateur and pro is now blurred. Outside of the Ignite program, most G League players are earning on average about $40,000 a year to go play for the G League. Yes, and the NCAA now considers that a low salary covering actual and necessary expenses like living costs, travel, housing, etc. From there, players who are making above the necessary expenses have to pay back the difference now when going back to play college athletics. So yeah, there is no such thing as amateur athletics anymore, it sounds like.
And I think the second that they allowed the universities to pay directly, like the salary basically to players, right? Like 20 million that they assigned to the athletic department, that they could pay players directly out of that. It basically eliminated amateurism, right?
Yeah.
Like the NIL at least kind of kept it a little intact, where it was like, these are marketings, this is likeness. Now they are directly paying players. So it is no different than the G League or any other professional setting.
At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought.
I agree.
I'm going to get myself in trouble, but I listen to people talk of how kids changed. Kids aren't the problem. We're the problem. This was sprung on us again yesterday, where a guy can be in the G League for 2 or 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's eligible. Most of my people knew nothing about it. I don't think our commissioner. I mean, I am not real excited about the NCAA or whoever's making these decisions without talking to us. Just let me go because they're afraid they're going to get sued. The NCAA's got to regroup. They got to regroup. That's my opinion. Only my opinion. So don't be mad at anybody else. Be mad at us. But I'm not going to be mad at the players. I'm going to be mad at the adults in the room. And so don't blame the players anymore. Blame the adults that make the decisions that allow some of these ridiculous things to happen.
That's Tom Izzo, Michigan State head coach, not happy with the current state of affairs in college basketball and with the G Leaguers.
How soon does he have a G Leaguer on his team?
Well, and are 100 G Leaguers about to invade college basketball?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question.
Business ethics.
That's what we're trying to decide.
We are trying to figure this out.
Because I don't know, Mason, like, to me, what's stopping LeBron James from going to play at Ohio State if this, like, the necessary...
He has eligibility, right? He never played.
Never played college athletics.
But didn't you just say that it's
That'd
like
be awesome,
it has to be
actually.
a low enough
That would be
salary
awesome.
that it's...
At what point do they raise that number? Right, because they're gonna.
They're not going to raise it to $540 million.
Why not? I mean,
no, it doesn't have to be a low salary. My understanding was they can pay them what they want, but like anything above that, they have to pay back like the minimum living expenses.
Oh, right? That's right.
So it's like they can pay him $200,000, and then they have to basically give back $40,000 or whatever the living expenses.
Oh my God,
it's like so bizarre.
So everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
That's where I feel about this. But it's not just one example, as we just heard. It's now 2 examples of it. And I feel like this is a step that the NCAA has to get in the way of now here. And I think it will fast track a lot of the separation from the NCAA if this becomes a case now too, Mason.
Yeah, I mean, like NCAA steps in and they try to put something there. Like the next step is what we've been talking about for a year, basically, is that these teams will join together, they'll get some money backing, and they'll become professional leagues, and they'll carve out the athletic department. So it is wild. I mean, I can't believe that we're literally talking about professional athletes coming back to college and being eligible to play.
And may God have mercy on your soul.
Yeah,
exactly. That's pretty much it right there. Like it is insane. Like we woke up yesterday to the news about the NBA and the gambling rings and the poker games and stuff like that. And it's like this all gets swept under the rug. And I think to Tom Izzo's point, and to college basketball's point, this is good when the next kid, the kid from Egypt who's going to BYU or Mississippi State or wherever he ends up going, and then the next kid goes, and then the next kid goes, and then the next kid goes. Once dozens of kids are entering college basketball in the next month or less, Like, I wonder how things change, or is it not till next season? And then next season we deal with it.
But how do you unravel it? And once it's been allowed, now it's like, all right,
that's
now
like NIL, Mace. It's like we have no rules. We're the Wild West, and then we dial it back. Like, where's Rick George setting up these rules beforehand, and then having the NCAA just pee on it?
Yeah,
like which is what they're doing. They're just peeing on.
They just couldn't make. They didn't want to allow it, and
Right.
so it ended up happening because they didn't have any rules in place, and now they're grasping at straws. And what's going to happen is, so now these guys, the kids that get in they're adults now, 21.
Yep.
These 21-year-olds that get in. Now are they going to be grandfathered in if the rules change, and they'll get to finish off?
They'll get
and
to
now
finish.
all these programs are going to be like, well, okay, so they're playing with professional athletes and we're doing this. Like it's a sham. It's a joke. NCAA, get better.
Business ethics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am. I'm sorry. Everyone had to hear this because it's just, it is frustrating. Now, this is a point where I was all in on you allow people to make their own money based on their name, image, and likeness. As soon as they brought in, the NIL coordinators at these places, and Izzo makes a great point.
GMs,
right?
GMs.
Like Izzo makes a great point on this. No longer feels like a problem for the student athletes, and maybe it never was, but it is something now that you have to be mad at the governing body, whether it is the NCAA or these schools' GMs. Like they are allowing. Who was the guy who thought like this was going to be a good idea? Did a G League player, did London Johnson reach out and say, "Hey, I want to come back and I want to play at college," or did a college go, "Hey, what if we go get these guys and recruit them from a professional league and the minor league system of the NBA, and what's stopping them from being
It had
eligible?"
to be an agent situation, right? Like how does that connection happen?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense. And now don't even get me started, all the gambling stuff going on. I just saw that they ruled that the NCAA players
November
can
1st.
gamble on professional sports.
November 1st.
Mm-hmm.
How
November
quick
1st.
until the first
Right.
issue happens
College
with
players and coaches and administrators all can now gamble as of November 1st.
Like why allow? Like what's the point of allowing that?
Why not?
What does that help? Like Coach McCarthy talked about on McAfee's show, where it was like, we had all these like crazy rules. It's like you could go into the casino when you play, but you couldn't go into a sports book.
Yep.
And you couldn't get comped meals or rooms or anything from the casinos.
So weird.
Yeah, and so they have all these things in place, but now it's just this blurred area, and guys, people are going to be like, "Hey, I don't know. There's so many different rules. There's so many nuances. Oops, I didn't mean to bet on that college game. I thought I just couldn't bet on my own game."
And on top of this, with bringing in professional athletes and then allowing college athletes to bet on pro sports, if they are being paid, what is the difference?
You're betting
now?
on, yeah.
You are literally betting on a pro sport.
Is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Like that is the exact same thing. We are talking about the line between amateurism and professionalism now being so blurry, and you can bet on pro sports. Like, is there not a lawyer that will argue if he does place a bet on a college game, it is betting on a pro sport?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't understand. Yeah. I don't understand it. Like,
Well, you know what I do understand? I understand Mason's extra points.
Business ethics.
I don't understand.
I don't
Mason's
understand.
ethics,
Yeah. Like we're confused on what
but
the
I
ethics of
understand
business is.
Mason's extra points. Mason doesn't understand trick-or-treating on Sunday, but we will get to that.
Oh,
All
gosh.
sorts of things going on this
Candy
weekend.
corn and
Let's go. Candy corn's delicious.
Geez.
I want it all. He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. I'm Mitch Nellis, a.k.a. Thunder. Mason's extra points are next here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
Great show, fellas. And I mean that. Seriously.
Yes, sir.
Coach Mike McCarthy was awesome for pretty much the first hour.
Yeah.
And then Mikey Henninger just crushed it with his fantasy football stuff. I was kind of getting after him a little bit, threw some stuff out there, claiming that those were his calls, but he does such a great job, and got us all dialed in for the weekend. And I guess we got to get dialed in for the weekend for trick-or-treating on Sunday. So
we do.
We talked about this last year, and I was pretty frustrated about it at the time. So what do you do next week on Friday when actual Halloween comes? Do you just have a party or like a get together? So why is this a thing there in Wisconsin?
You don't
I remember it happening when I was. It actually didn't happen in Green Bay.
No,
we
in
didn't
Green
do it
Bay
on Sunday. It's just a Milwaukee area.
Yeah, it's a Milwaukee area thing. More and more communities though in the Milwaukee area are reverting back to Halloween. It seems like there were a couple more that announced this year that they were going back to it. A lot of neighborhoods are taking it upon themselves to go back to the 31st. But there still is official trick-or-treating time Sunday from 1 to 4 in numerous municipalities.
I do like the time. Like I like the 4 to 6 on Halloween. Like just get everybody in and out before it's dark and before it gets too late. That is nice. That's
nice. Why Sundays work, is that you do it earlier in the day, especially when there's a Packers game at night.
Is there a more polarizing holiday that gives more issues than Halloween? Like it feels like no one can ever agree on when trick-or-treating is,
or candy corn,
what time,
or the candy.
Right? Do you leave the light on? Do you leave a bowl there? Like whatever it is. Like no one else.
Do you have beers for the dads?
Like everyone else, every other holiday, there is no other problem. It feels like, and Halloween every year, it's like a political divide on what's going on with Halloween.
You know what I'm here for, though, which I feel odd about. Molly dislikes Halloween, for a lot of different reasons.
Okay.
But I love the huge and like weird skeletons that people are putting up in the
coming
yard.
out of people's lawns.
Oh gosh, like some of these
great.
giant skeletons and the skeleton dogs. Like I was looking the other day. I was about to roll with some. We got a weird thing going on at our house, which I'm definitely not for. Pumpkins kind of have fall going. But then our the lighting company for the Christmas lights came and put Christmas lights up the other day.
Too early. Too early.
And I was like, what?
Nope, after it can't go before Halloween.
Are you an Ace Hardware? Like, what are you're putting all this stuff out so early?
Oh, it felt odd. It felt weird. Yeah. We're not going to plug them in. They're not on. They're not on until after Thanksgiving. I'm strict with that.
You know what I do like, Mace, is there are videos on like TikTok and YouTube of like middle of the night animals in your front yard, and then they get motion activated by one of those Halloween things, and the animals lose their brains and get so scared.
That.
Those are awesome.
When does hunting start down there, Mason? It's the same time frame? Is it like right before?
It's a little longer. So Wisconsin's one of the few places that has like the gun season, like
short,
10-day gun season where everyone goes off.
November 22nd.
And Texas, basically, gun season ran end of September until mid-January. So it all just kind of, you get a few, like an extra month of bow season, and then it runs the whole time. So, a little different up there in Wisconsin. I think Tennessee is fairly the same.
Yeah. But we got about 90 seconds left, Mace. Anything you want to share with us going on this weekend? Anything besides,
Yeah, big weekend. Again, I'm going up to Kentucky for a soccer tournament with Elizabeth. Yeah,
bourbon.
Yep. Yeah, I might stop at a bourbon shop. I don't know if I'll have any time, but I'll do my best.
You make some time. Yeah. Why don't
we got to celebrate a year? So we still haven't done that yet.
World Series starts tonight. Bucks play at 5:30, and Sunday night. Cannot wait. I'm excited for this Packers game. This is going to be fun.
This is the one we've all been waiting for. Yeah, this almost feels like the season starts this weekend, where it's like, okay, now it's time to roll. We're going to really see what this team's about and what the rest of the season looks like.
Yeah, this is going to be a blast. Like, I'm glad we got trick or treating Sunday afternoon. I'm glad. But like Sunday night, like let's go. Like close everything down. Full focus.
I actually canceled going to the hockey game so I can lock in on the football game.
I love that. Nice. I love that.
Are you guys apple cider guys?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Hate
yeah.
apple cider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apple cider donuts, apple cider slushies, apple cider everything. Let's go.
Ugh.
Yeah. Delicious.
It's good apple cider weather.
Yeah.
All
Good
right.
apple cider.
Yeah, break us down. I'm out of here.
He's Mason Crosby. He's Tommy Wirtz. We are the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Happy Friday.